Okay, good morning everyone. This is Dr. Shilpi Khandelwal, Professor in Management from Jagannath University, Jaipur. Today we are going to take up the topic of microeconomics. I am going to introduce the basic concepts of economics, and I would like to relate how the economics relates to your daily life. So, before starting with the basic concepts of economics, we will try to understand that why we should study economics in different areas and different fields. So, these are the reasons why we study economics. There are three basic reasons why we study economics, or why the branch of economics as a branch of academics or as a field of study has evolved. The first basic reason is unlimited wants and scarce resources. See, as human, we have unlimited wants. If our one want is fulfilled, we require another thing for fulfill another wants. So we keep on having different demands and different wants at different points of time. So first, why we are studying economics is because of the unlimited human wants, and to fulfill those unlimited human wants, we are having scarce resources. The resources are scarce, the resources are limited. If the situation would have been that they are the resources would also be in abundance, or the resources would also be in, as per the wants and requirements, then there would be no need to study economics. The study of economics has evolved as there has to be a trade-off between the wants and the limited resources. The second is these resources have alternative uses. So we have to apply our logic, our brain, how to utilize those resources for the best of our benefits. And the third, why we study economics, because as an economics is science as well as an art, where science focuses on the methodology, the sequence, the steps, the evidence-based approach. It is based on facts and figures and the logic. Here, as an art, it has to be applied. It has to be applied in our daily lives, it has to be applied in our business life, it has to be applied in different fields to optimize our benefits. So basically, what is economics? So economics is the branch of knowledge concerned with the production, consumption and transfer of wealth and economic resources. Wealth is a kind of economic resource. So how we are basically producing, how we are consuming, and how we are distributing and transferring those economic resources to the best of our benefit. This is what is economics all about. He is the father of economics, Mr. Adam Smith. He is known for his work on the nature and uses of national wealth, how the national wealth should be utilized for the benefit of all of a nation. So he is considered as father of economics, or he has written many articles and many theories on economics. So as I have in my previous slide, as I have covered, that economics is science as well as art. It is science because it has different systematic collection of facts and figures, because it is like in science, everything is based on laws, principles and theories. It is also based on laws, principles and theories. And as in science, we always understand a relationship between independent and dependent variable, a cause and effect relationship. Here also we try to understand the relationship between the variables, which variables are dependent on the independent variables. So economics is art as well, because as in arts, you try to understand the human psychology, human behaviors, human studies, right? It also deals with the people, because actually it has to be applied by the people. It has to be used by the people. So here we also considered human behavior while studying economics. What is the what a consumer thinks, what a producer thinks, what actually how they make their choices, how they optimize their resources. So it is art as well. Scope of the economics scope is very widened. It can be applied to an individual level also, as well as on the aggregate level also. So there are basically two branches of economics. One which applies on the individual level, it is called as microeconomics. One which is applied at the aggregate level, it is called as macroeconomics. So there are two branches of economics. There are two branches of studies of economics. One which is applied at individual level, that is microeconomics, and the other which at aggregate level, that is macroeconomics. In the microeconomics, we generally study the concept of utility. how the consumer satisfies his wants. We actually understand the concept of demand, how the consumer demands for a product or service or a commodity. We understand the concept of production, cost, how the producers are optimizing their resources to the produce maximum output, how they are minimizing their cost, how they are maintaining their inventory, how they are looking for the markets, and what kind of market structure exists, and how they are pricing their product, how they are allocating the resources, right? Capital, investment, risk, profit, how they are making their break even. These all covered under microeconomics. As far as macroeconomics is concerned, business cycles, what kind of business cycles is moving, what kind of economic environment is there, what kind of national income. The national income means the income earned by all the people within the domestic territory of a country. So what that concept, employment, what kind of employment levels are going in the country or the nation, governmental regulations and how they are affecting the basic economic conditions of a country. What are the capital market conditions, how the people are saving their resources, how the people are consuming their resources, how they are utilizing or investing their resources, and the socio-economic and political organizations. So before going further, we would like to understand, we will try to understand what are the basic terms of the economics. So first term which comes under economics is ceteris paribus, which you may often read, or which you may often come across while you are studying the concepts of the economics. So basically first term is ceteris paribus. It is a Latin word which means keeping all other things constant, or keeping all other things same, or keeping all other things equal, which means whenever we are studying the cause and effect relationship between the two variables, the other variables which are affecting the dependent variable are assumed to be equal or same or constant at that time. Because what happens, the environment is very dynamic. If all the variables are affecting the relationship of the independent and the dependent variable, so it may not be possible to actually formulate any kind of law, principle or theory on the basis of the two variables. So what we try to do in this, in all the sciences, actually in the science also, if you go through the Newton's laws of motion, if you study the third law of motion, it states for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. That means if I slap you, the equal reaction should come to me, but it doesn't come in the real life. Then what is the problem? The problem is this principle holds true only when there is no friction of the air. That means keeping all other things constant, for every action there is equal and opposite reaction. So there is no absolute law or no absolute theory we can make in reality. So what happens in economics also, because it deals with the human behavior, so no absolute law will be there. The laws would be there, or the principles would be there, keeping all other factors constant or same or equal, and then we analyze the relationship between the independent and the dependent variables. So ceteris paribus means keeping all other things same, equal or constant at the moment when we are studying the relationship between the independent and the dependent variable. The second concept or the second basic terms in the economics is rationality. We only apply the concepts of the economics when we are saying ki there has to be a trade-off between the unlimited wants and the scarce resources. That means we have to apply our logic, we have to apply our brains to how to get the maximum satisfaction out of those scarce resources and fulfill our wants. Now in this case, when you are applying your brains, your logic, you are actually evaluating each and every alternative uses of that resources, and you are understanding ki which course of action will give you the maximum satisfaction or maximum attainment of your wants. So in economics, we apply the concept of rationality. We assume that in economics that each person involved who is applying the concept of the economics is being rational. Whether it is consumer or whether it is producer, both are rational at their own aspect. For example, if a consumer is there, the consumer wants to maximize his utility and minimizing his sacrifice. Everybody wants that I should give minimum and I should get maximum. So this approach is called as the approach of rationality. Likewise, the producer also wants that he should be sacrificing minimum resources and get the maximum output out of those resources. So basically, producers also wants to maximize their output, their profit at the same time. So everyone is being rational in the economics. Third is the concept of scarcity. As I have told you earlier also, that what we are trying to do in economics is to do a trade-off between the unlimited wants and the limited resources. Now this trade-off is why we are doing this trade-off, because the resources are limited. So in economics, we say this as scarcity concept, that the resources are scarce and the wants are unlimited. Now from these scarce resources which have alternative uses, we have to satisfy our wants. So this concept is called as scarcity. The next concept we are using in economics is of opportunity cost. So what is opportunity cost? Opportunity cost is whenever you are actually evaluating your alternatives, in the end you are end up with the two alternatives, right? And in which you have to select one alternative, because you can't select two of the alternatives as you have limited resources, right? You can select only one alternative at a time. When you are selecting one alternative, you are actually foregoing or sacrificing the benefits of the other alternative you may get while selecting the other. So whatever you are foregoing, the second best alternative, the benefit you are getting from the second best alternative is called as opportunity cost. So whenever you are selecting one alternative, you are actually foregoing the benefits of the second best alternative. This concept in economics is called as opportunity cost, as selecting the best alternative will always involve the cost of foregoing the benefits derived from the second best alternative. So this concept is called as opportunity cost. The next concept is marginal. So in economics, we always follow that people think at margin. That means people always look for what incremental benefits they are getting and what incremental cost they have to give to take up that alternative. So we always assume that each and every person involved thinks at margin what extra he is giving and what extra he is getting. So that additional or that one additional or that extra he is sacrificing to get that one additional benefit is called as the concept of marginal. Okay. So now these were the basic terms. Now we will try to understand the types of economic analysis, how you can do different kind of economic analysis. The first is micro and macro, which I have told you earlier also. That is, micro means if you are doing an economic analysis at an individual level, like individual person, individual firm, individual household, or any kind of individual unit. If you are doing economic analysis on that individual unit, it is called as micro analysis. And if you are doing on sum total, right, all the individuals, all the households, all the firms, then you are doing macro analysis. Then the second way of doing economic analysis is positive versus normative. So positive analysis, if you are doing economic analysis with the point of view that what is there or what is actually happening, it is called as positive analysis. And if you are doing economic analysis with the perspective that what should be done or what ought to be and what steps should be taken, that is called as normative analysis. Like I will give you one example. If being a manager of a company, if I have been asked to analyze the sales of the company, and if I am actually analyzing the sales with the perspective whatever is happening, what kind of sales I am having, what kind of revenues I am having, what kind of cost involved in that producing that sales, it is called as positive analysis. But if I am doing analysis with the perspective that what kind of sales should be there of my products, what kind of revenue should I earn, what kind of cost should be involved in producing those sales, then it is called as normative analysis. So what is means what is fact, what is actually present is positive analysis, and what should be done, it is known as normative analysis. Okay, on the basis of the time period, we do short run and long run economic analysis. Now, how it is different, let me explain you. See, there are different factors of production. One is land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, technology. These are different factors of the production. On the basis of that, on the basis of different organizations and different combinations, actually the output will come. But what will happen in the short run, you actually change out of these factors, you can actually accommodate only 2 or 1 factor which actually you can accommodate and change the production levels. In the longer run, you can actually change or vary all the factors of the production to reach the output level at your expectation. So basically in the short run, there are constraints. There are constraints of the resources which you can manage and produce the output. But in the longer run, you have the opportunity to plan it in a way that you can manage all the factors of production to raise your production level for the as per your expectation. Like I would give you a very small example. Like in the short run, if I have to raise my production level, so I can raise from 100 to 110, 120. There is a limit to it because I can change only some things out of these 5 things, right? And out of these 5 factors of the production, I can change some factors, like I can change labor and I can increase the production up to a certain extent. But after that, I can't change the production levels because laborers will work only in the premises and within the specific facilities provided with the machines. So if I can't change the capital, if I can't change the land, if I can't change the basic manufacturing facilities, I can't change the production level. But in case of long run, if I have 5 years time, if I have 3 years of time, in that case I can change each and every factor of production. I can change the land, building, I can change the capital requirement, I can arrange the capital as per my requirements, as per the expectation of my output levels, and I can change the labor and make them skilled and trained too. So in that case, I can change the production as per my requirement. So in the short run, you have more constraints to change the production levels. In the long run, you can change the production level as per your requirement by planning all the resources accordingly. So this is how the time period will affect the economic analysis. Next, equilibrium analysis. So in economics, we do equilibrium analysis. Now, so first we will try to understand what is equilibrium. Equilibrium is a kind of a situation where basically you want to be. So if from the firm's perspective, if we want to see, a firm is in equilibrium when they are utilizing their resources in the in a manner that they are satisfied with the level of output, with the level of revenues, with the level of the sales, with the level of the production capacities they are having, they are satisfied it, right? So that is a kind of a situation where a firm wants to be and doesn't want to change, provided 2 conditions. One, if there is a threat, then only they will change. If they will not change, it will put a survival on their existence. Or if they find an incentive to change, means there is a huge demand in the market, and if they change their production level from that situation to the other situation, it will actually attract more profit. So they will change only when they see an incentive or a threat. Otherwise, they want to be in that situation. So that situation is called as equilibrium. So in case of the equilibrium analysis also, we do partial equilibrium analysis, general equilibrium analysis. If we are looking at the individual firm equilibrium analysis, it is called as partial equilibrium analysis, individual unit or an individual firm, right? If we are looking for all the industry, all the firms existing in that industry, and if we are doing analysis of all the firms, equilibrium analysis of all the firms in that industry, then it is called as general equilibrium analysis. Then there is static and dynamic equilibrium analysis. Static means if you are analyzing the equilibrium at a particular period of time or a particular point of time, it is called as static equilibrium analysis. And if you are analyzing the equilibrium over a period of time, that how the equilibrium is changing from one period to the another period to the another period, then it is called as dynamic equilibrium analysis. Like if I click a photo with someone that shows my presence at that moment of time with someone, right? So that shows at that point of time I was there with someone, and that photo is the actual proof of that particular moment. But if I shot a video of that particular period, then in that case, it will show that from where I have started, from whom I have met at that point of time, to another people I have met at that point of time, to another people I have met at another point of time, how I am moving around, how I am interacting with people. It shows dynamic equilibrium analysis, right? So basically, static means at a point of time, whatever the state of the equilibrium of a firm is having, and dynamic equilibrium means during a period of time, how the firm is changing its equilibrium from one position to another position is called as dynamic equilibrium analysis. Okay, now let's understand the basic economic problem. Okay. So basic economic problem, we will start with that: unlimited wants, limited resources. So basic economic problem, as per the Samuelson, is because of the limited resources, and he said that there are three basic economic problems: what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. What to produce means the societies or the nations or the people have to decide the various combination of the goods and services that has to be produced with the limited resources. So basically, what to produce from those limited resources, what combination of goods and services are going to be produced from those limited resources, is deciding what to produce.